Hey guys, today we're talking about percents. A percent means rate per 100. A percent can be thought of as a ratio with a second term of 100. And the symbol for percent is this symbol right here, a slash with two zeros, one on top, one on the bottom. Per 100, that's how I like to remember it. Per two zeros. So if I have the ratio of 96 to 100, then I have 96%. 25 to 100, 25%, and 33 to 100, 33%, and then 7 to 100 is 7%. So if I have the base as being 100, I can easily change these summative assessment scores to the percent. For example, if somebody got 97 out of 100, they got a 97%. It gets a little trickier when the number isn't 100. So we set it equal to 100, or we can simplify first and then try to set it equal to 100. In this case, from 25 to 100, it's pretty simple. It's just multiplying by 4. So whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom to make equivalent fractions. 15 times 4 gives me 60. So in this case, they got a 60%. Over here, 50 to 100 is also pretty easy. So times 2, 35 times 2 is 70 out of 100, or 70%. Now this is where it gets a little trickier. I can first try to simplify and get 11 out of 15, but that doesn't get me to 100 easily. So what I have to think about is this as being a division problem, 22 divided by 30. Put that in your calculator and you get 0.73, and you see a lot of threes, don't you? Well, we know that is 73 repeating threes, and those are hundredths. So really that would look like this, 73 with the 3 repeating, so it would look like 73.3 or 73 and 3/10 repeating. So as a percent, it's 73.3 repeating percent. Okay, same thing with 27 divided by 32. There's no easy way to get to 100. So let's look at it from a decimal perspective. It's 84 and then 375. Okay, so if we're looking at somebody's full, their score, this would be over 84, and we need it to be over 100. The 3 tells the 4 to stay, so we can round to about 84%. If we use this symbol, then we know it's not perfect. It means we rounded the decimals to the nearest whole percent. Okay, what if they ask us, what is 25% of 40? In this case, 25% written as a fraction looks like this. Okay, so 25 out of 100. And we're trying to figure out what this is out of 40. Okay, what is 25% of 40? So if I had 100 items and I had 25%, I'd have 25. If I have 40 items and I have 25%, what do I have? So 25% out of 100, if I simplify this, how many times does 25 go into 100? 4 times. It goes into itself once. So 25 out of 100 simplified is 1/4. Does that make it easier to get to 40? Yeah, because all I have to do is multiply by 10. So if I simplify 25 over 100 and then multiply by 10, I get 10 out of 40. Can I check my work? Sure can. 10 divided by 40 gives me 0.25, which I know is 25%, so I did it right. Okay, let's look at 24% out of 100. What is 24% of 200? So I have 24 out of every 100. So if I just double this times 2 and I get 48, then I know I have 48 out of 100. 32%, and I'm trying to figure out if I have 50 items, what's 32% of 50? Well, this is just a division of 2. So it's problem solving. You're asking yourself, how do I get from this number to this number easiest? Dividing by 2, so I get 30 divided by 2 is 15, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 15 and 1 makes 16, or use your calculator. So the answer to this one is 16. This one right here was the hardest because I had to first simplify, but even then it's all about problem solving. All right, so let's look at this situation. I want you to write it down so that way you can underline the question and circle the key pieces of information. And I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did to start the problem. Okay, so here's what I underlined and circled. Adam ran 7 out of 10 days, so I knew I wanted 7 out of 10 days. What was the percentage, make sure you circle percentage, of days he ran? So I'm trying to figure out what percent, so what out of 100 he ran. I'm going to write that down first because I want to know the percent of days. Okay, what do I know? I know he ran 7 out of 10. So how do I get from 10 to 100? Multiply by 10. 7 times 10 is 70. So 70% is the percentage of days. 70% of days. Whoops, too many there. He ran 70% of days. Let's look at Gwen. She made 12 out of 43 free throws. You do not have to write this one down, or free throw shots. What was the percentage of shots she made? So we want to know what percent she made. So we circle key information, underline the question. We want to know what percent. So that's out of 100, and this is going to be the shots she made. Okay, and we're going to set that equal to the 12 out of 40 that we know that she made. What is this as a percent? Well, I can't get from 40 to 100 easily, but I can simplify. So if I simplify 12 over 40, I get 6 out of 20. I could do it like that. And both are also divisible by 4, so I also get 3/10. Either way you thought about it, that makes our lives easier because this one I can multiply by 5 and this one I can multiply by 10. And either way I get 30 and this is 30%. So she made 30% of the shots. All right, let's look at Pharrell. He's collecting state quarters. He has 42 out of 50 quarters. What is the percentage of quarters that he still needs? So we're looking at what percentage he still needs. We know he has 42 out of 50. Now, this is trickier because we want to know how many he needs. So he has 42. How many does he need? He needs 8 out of the 50. So what percentage is it that he needs? We set that equal to 100, which is like multiplying by 2. So he needs 16%. Take a look at that one again if you need to. Remember, he has 42, and the question's asking what does he need. So that's where we got the 8. So make sure you understand that. In this one, they tell us in recent years, 0.12 of Americans have downloaded podcasts. Oops, I didn't mean to underline that. What percent of Americans downloaded a podcast? Well, we know that 0.12 also looks like this, and we know that as a percentage is 12%. Did we need to set that up as a proportion? No, because we already had 12 out of 100. So 12% of Americans downloaded podcasts. Okay, here's the last one. About 7/10 of the human body is made up of water. What percent of the human body is made up of water? So we want to know this as a percentage. Okay, so we know 7/10 is written 7 out of 10, which could also be multiplied by 10 to get 70 out of 100, which is 70%. So 70% is made of water. And that's all I have for you today. I will see you next time.